In this exercise, we'll be creating some HTML pages similar to ones we'd previously done using hand coding. You will need to set up a directory structure similar to what you see here using the provided files in a download, and just create a new site in Dreamweaver with the same directory structure. We're going to create the two files called index.html and page2.html. Currently I've got one called index.b just to use as a model, and I'll create a new one right now. So here is the page, and it is very similar to ones we had previously hand coded, but we've got some placed images, some different formatted text, heading 1, heading 2, a paragraph, an ordered list, a sentence in a paragraph with a word with the strong tags attached to it, creating the bold, one with the M tags attached to it, creating italic, creating some text links, adding another image that also doubles as a hyperlink, doing a special character, the copyright symbol, and we'll add a table in here, and I'll show you how to do row spans and column spans as well, and finally a link to the top of the page, which we're actually going to just attach an ID to this picture, and that's basically reproduces the old school anchor technique. Okay, so I'll start by just creating the new file and saving it immediately. New HTML, and I guess I can put my document title in here. I'll just call it home and click create. So I still have to save the file, but you can see the basic HTML structure here with the head and the body tags and so on. So I'm going to do a save as. Now when you do a save as, you can click on site root just to be sure that you're going in the same site. It is there anyway, but you do have this site root button here. Now I'm just going to call this index.html and click save. Alright, so I've got a blank file here right now. So what I'll do is I will go to my Insert tab. Now I'm assuming, or this is going on the assumption, that you've already created the folders, put the images in the appropriate folder called images, and basically have your structure set up. So if I go over to the Insert tab, I'm going to start by inserting image. And then we dig down for it, and it happens to go to the folder that I want to go to. And I will place cookies where to buy.jpg at the top of the page here. And there is our first element. So I'm just going to save that right away and continue on. Now to get out of this highlighted image, I can hit my right arrow key and then hit my return key. And what happens when you hit your return key is that it goes to a new line, and then I can start to add content here. So I'm just going to add the word heading 1. And then by highlighting it, I will just go down to my properties panel and choose the format, heading 1. Now it occurred to me your properties panel may not by default be on the screen. So if you do need to bring it up, go up to Window and just choose Properties. And I can turn it off and on here. Now if it's not docked, let's say it's floating like that, you can dock it by carefully dragging it to the bottom, and when you see that blue line at the bottom, you can release it and it will dock to the bottom of your work area. Alright, so that's heading 1. Now I'm just putting my cursor behind it, hitting my return key, and I'll type in heading 2. And again, just highlighting that and formatting it. You can see by default, when I hit my return key, the next line does automatically get surrounded by P tags, paragraph tags, and it's automatically formatted as a paragraph. I'm just going to set it to heading 2 here through my properties panel and then click behind. And once again, here I'm just going to type the word paragraph. And again, if I point out over here in the code view, by hitting my return key, I've automatically generated P tags, paragraph tags. Okay, so I'm going to go one below here, and I'll just refer to the other file. I believe we're going to do an ordered list right now. There are a couple of ways to create ordered lists, as you see here. So I'm going to come back. I'm just going to type in the 3 paragraph lines. So I'm going to just say ordered list item 01. And you know what, just to make things quick, I'm going to copy that. Just come here, return, paste, return, paste. Now to make that into a list, I can simply highlight all the elements I wish to convert to a list, and you can see them highlighted over here in the code view. Let me just do that again there. And I can either click down here in my properties, or I can click unordered list in the insert. Either or will give me the same result. And there is my list. Now that if I wish to change that to an ordered list, I actually picked unordered by mistake there. I simply choose the other one. And you saw the elements change to numbers. Now, when you click behind an ordered list, when I hit my return key, it automatically will add to that list. But if I hit return again, it gets me out. And I'm just going to save my file right here. And let's see what's next over here. Next thing we have is a sentence with a word that's been turned into bold in the middle. So let's just do that. So I'll just manually type in. Again, having hit my return key, it's already in a paragraph. Sorry, let me just see what that said again. In the middle of this sentence, in the middle of this sentence, this word is bold and not normal. Okay, so all I have to do here is highlight the word I wish to make bold and go down to my properties and click on the bold icon. And you can again see in the code view that the strong tags have surrounded the word bold, and as a result it is more bold than the rest. I'm going to cheat here, not cheat, but just make things quicker, and copy this sentence, click behind, return, paste it in, and I'll change the word bold to italic, and highlight the word and simply come down here and change it in the properties. Now it could be bold and italic, but I'm going to uncheck bold and simply make it italic. If I click away, you can see the emphasis, and in fact the tags are the EM tags, as you can see over here. Okay, again, it's good to save frequently. I believe the next item down is a link to another page. Now I do have the other page created, so I will link to it, and I'll show you various ways that you can establish the link. I think I'm going to call up my files panel for that, right there. Okay, and I'll just return, and I'll say link to other page, and I'll put a period there and just correct my spelling. So you highlight it, and down here in the link window, I can pull down and I may see the available page. That's one way of doing it. Second way to do it is using this little point to file. I don't really like using it, but you might. And you click and drag, and you just roll it over the file, and you can see the link changing in the link window. So I could say link to page 2 that way. Or the third method, which is my preferred method, is to click on the folder icon, browse for file, and go to the site root, and just click on page 2 and click open. Now nothing happened there because though I didn't have my text highlighted. So we'll do that one more time with feeling, as we say. There we go. Page 2, double click it, and you can see the blue text with the underline, which is kind of the default style for links. And I'll just save that on my keyboard here. And I'll hit return to come to a new paragraph. And I think I'm just going to insert an image now and make that image also a link. So let's go back to insert, image, cookie 1, open. And with that still highlighted, I'm just going to select the link, browse for file here. And I'll link it to the same page, page 02. So that is also a link, and we'll test that shortly. Actually, why don't we test it right now? So I'll just go up to Firefox, and oh, it looks like I didn't return that. So I'm glad I actually came in here. I'll come up and I'll fix this heading 1 thing, but let's just check that these links work, and they do. Well, that one did, and so did that one. So let me just correct this little issue right here. I'll just go back to Dreamweaver. And in here, let's just check my code. Yeah, see right here how it just hangs off of there? I'm just going to, I see what happened. The H1 tag surrounded the image as well. So I'm going to go into code. This wasn't part of the plan, but I'll show you how you can fix this in code view. I'm going to grab that H1 tag and just drag it to the front of the H1 word right there. And if I just fix this up a little bit, it'll be easier for you to comprehend what I did. So I just moved that. That was a human error. But again, it gives me a chance to demonstrate how you can tweak your code in the code view and ultimately make it good. All right, so let me just save that. And I can go out to my browser and just hit refresh. And in fact, it did seem to refresh automatically there. And that is the desired location for the word heading 1. Again, it is great and it is prudent to check and test your work often. So back to Dreamweaver. And we're almost through this. I'm going to actually, I think, insert a table now, but let me double check my reference file. Actually, we'll put in a copyright symbol here. I'll just come here, I'll hit return again. So the copyright symbol will be in between paragraph tags. Now, I'm just going to hand code that. It happens to be ampersand and the word copy with a semicolon, as you can see here. Like that. And I click in there, and there it is, manifested as the copyright symbol. Once again, I'm going to hit return. And let's insert a table. So we'll go over here to table under the insert tab. And here I can determine rows and columns, and I can always edit those after the fact in my properties. So I'm just going to say, let's say 2 rows, 2 columns, table width 500 pixels. We'll go with the defaults, and we'll allow for a 1 pixel border so we can actually see the edges. And I click OK. And there is my 500 pixel wide table. Now, just to demonstrate, I can modify that inside here. I'm just going to highlight it like this. And in my properties, I'm going to add 2 more rows. So that'll be 4 rows, 2 columns. Hit my tab key to enter that. And there we go. Now, there are things called row spans and row columns where you can actually unify some of these blocks within the table. So let me demonstrate a row span. And you simply, in Dreamweaver, click inside the table cell and drag across till you highlight multiple table cells. And down below here, this tiny little icon will unite them. Now, if I wanted to divide them, it's the little icon next to it called split. And I can actually change that to a different number. I'm just going to click OK. And I'll redo that. So I'll drag across one more time, unite those, creating a row span. And I can give it a background color. So just for fun, let's just give it this kind of pink hue and hit my enter key. And I'll just do a row columns or a column span here. Let me drag across these 3 here and just unite those with the merge selected cells button. And why don't I put a little bit of blue color, light blue in the back of that. Hit my enter key. There we go. Now I can put in pictures, I can insert images, text here. I can put a word in there. 1, 2, just type that in 2 and so on. And I can highlight the table cells and actually change the default for the alignment. So let's say vertical, top, for example. All right, so you do have a lot of this control inside of your properties panel. All right, so that's some of the basics. Let me just double check that that's everything. Oh no, there's one more thing, and it's a cool thing. It's kind of based on the legacy anchor feature, where you could link to different sections of a page. It's not, we don't really use anchors anymore. We can actually just use ID tags and link to ID tags. So let's go back to the file here, and I think I'll save it before I continue. And what I need to do is I need to make something to link to. So I'm going to link to this image at the top. And again, I said I need to attach an ID to it. And we do that in properties by selecting it. Then over here on the left, I see this empty ID box. I'm just going to call it top link. All lowercase. Hit my tab or enter key to submit that entry. And now I have something on the page to link to. So we'll go to the bottom here. I'll hit my return key one more time and I'll say link to top. Let me just fix my spelling here. Link to top, highlight that, and if I go in my link window, it would be hashtag top link, and I can actually see it in my list here. I could manually type that in as well. Hashtag top link, hit my tab key to enter that, save it, and I'll probably have to narrow my height of my browser to test it, but let's just see what we have here. Something's a little funky here. Let me just see. Oh, block quote. For some reason I accidentally hit block quote. Let me just highlight that. Actually, this gives me an opportunity to introduce you to the tag selector, which we have not done. See over here, these are all the tags in the cascading style. I can select block quote. And simply delete that tag. I'm going to do it manually here. So I'm going to go here. Here. Okay. And there we go. Save that. That also was not intentional, but there you go. It did give me a chance to show you the tag selector. And let me test that in the browser. Firefox. Okay, there it is. Oh, my page is tall enough, so let's just try this link at the bottom. Link to top, and you see what it did? It snapped me back to the ID that I linked to, which happened to be this image. So we'll quickly try these other links, and they seem to be working fine. And fine. So you'll need to make this second page. I'll go into Dreamweaver and show you what it entails. Let's go back to Files here. Page 2. So first create a page, HTML. Save it as page02.html. Then just put in the words h2 and surround it with the h1 tags. And then simply create a link with the words link to home page and just link it to the index.html. And basically, those are just some of the basics. It gives you some of the fundamental principles on how we insert content, manage content, if you will, on the page, and work a little bit with the code view and our tag selector, that if I select something here, I can see the cascade and select the different tags that are in that hierarchy. And that is your assignment.